All right, we're here once again for another ranking video because we are creative content creators and we like doing rank lists because they're fun and we enjoy doing them individually, but we enjoy them even more when we battle and fight against each other in word combat. I don't know. We're not gonna really.
Yeah.
We'll disagree more. I feel like on this list probably compared
This
to
was an
the Wes
interesting
Anderson.
one to come
By
up
the way,
with.
we're doing Paul Thomas Anderson. That's the you already saw it from the video title, but we have yet to actually say it out loud. So
Yeah, the great PTA. We're ranking his top 10, which happens to be just ranking his entire filmography.
yeah,
And like you said, this will be interesting as far as the differences, because I have a feeling that the bottom three are probably going to be the same.
I was
It
going
may
to say
be
bottom three are
maybe
like
different.
interchangeable slightly amongst each
Yes.
other, but then once you break out of that bottom three, then it's sort
It's
of
really
anything goes.
fair game. Anyone could have a different opinion on them, but I will be. It'll be interesting to see.
Oh, for sure. Do you want to say some of your general takes about this man in myth?
I mean, he's obviously going to go down as one of the greatest American directors. We're fortunate to have him continue to make movies in our lifetime. Really has such a not a lengthy filmography, but each movie is important, and he's built upon it and just gotten better and better. Really has an incredibly impactful and like important filmography in terms of like kind of breaking out of the more like art house auteur and kind of being seen more on like a wider cultural lens. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? He's definitely one of my favorite directors, but I think I have a more of a soft spot for Wes Anderson technically.
Sure. No, yeah,
in
same.
the lens that we're going through.
Yeah, he's a cool director for sure. He's interesting because he has sort of two distinct eras, sort of similar to what's his name from he did Song to Song, and I should know his fucking name.
No idea.
Right, you know the Song to Song, Knight of Cups.
Oh,
Day of
yes.
Heaven.
Terrence Malick.
Terrence Malick. How could we forget? It's similar to that guy because he has like a couple films early on that follow a similar style, and then he discovers the Steadicam,
Which is it up.
What people theorize as the main difference to what his like newer era is like. I don't know if there's an exact technique that Paul Thomas Anderson developed and that caused his big change. The big focus is more so on like the character from big scope to sort of smaller. But he has like that sort of two distinct eras separated from his first three films to the rest of his things. And I find that to be interesting, how he shifts things up quite heavily, but I still enjoy a good chunk of his things from sort of both periods of his filmography, which again is still developing, sort of like Wes Anderson. So, I mean, we have yet to see where the future goes with this guy. But for now, we're going to start by breaking down and going through each one of these. We will be spoiling them, so spoilers for every single film. Yeah, let's get started with Peter. What is your number 10?
My number 10 would have to be Hard Eight,
Ooh,
his debut film.
fair. Fair.
And I'm curious if you might feel the same way.
I was super duper omega close.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Because my number
Why don't
10
you tell
is
us?
Licorice Pizza.
Okay.
But
Well,
my number 9.
Funnily
sorry.
enough, and funnily enough, Licorice Pizza is my number 9.
Ooh.
So,
Which means we have the same
Not to
number
get ahead
8.
of ourselves. Yes, most likely.
Let's start with
Um,
Hard 8, though. Because
Hard Eight.
that's technically what should be happening in the order. So,
Yes, Paul Thomas Anderson's debut film coming out in 1996.
which, I mean, that's what
It-
you want as a creator. You want your first thing to be your worst. theoretically,
Absolutely.
at the bottom.
And this one is really interesting. This was one of the later films I've seen from him.
It was the last of his that I saw. I saw all of
And
his other ones first.
it's cool to see, the origin of his films. This one seems the most, unoriginal, the least PTA, the least engaging. Not really, but it's just pretty standard. This is, a movie, kind of rags to riches, crime slash
Hmm.
gambling film, with good characters, good acting, and pretty solid writing. It's all solid. It's just nothing to blow you away necessarily. Similar themes of, abandoned fathers, or like abandoned children, and fatherhood, and crime, and all that stuff that he will go
Oh
on in later
yeah.
films to explore in great detail, and more successfully, in my opinion. But still, for a beginner's debut film, it's not bad. It's
Yeah.
pretty good, I'd
For
say.
for a first film, I'd say it's very good. As a film
Yeah.
in general, it's decent. You know,
Hmm.
because like you could see a little bit sense of style in where he goes forward from here. Like I think of the initial casino scene where Philip Baker Hall is given John C. Riley like the lore dump of here's how you
Hmm.
get an infinite money glitch or whatever at the casino, and I think of like that scene as like by the time we get to his second and third film that he made, there's sort of like an evolution of that sort of style of shots and conversations, and there's more motion and like
Hmm.
fluidity to where those sort of scenes go to begin with. So I mean, the only reason really why I like this one more than the other one we're about to talk about, is because like I do appreciate just that angle of it's very similar to Bottle Rocket in that it like Bottle Rocket to me feels like one step closer to a like student film,
Hmm.
where this is just
I
like
can
a
see
very
that.
slight step up from there. If I had to like compare those two directly, but yeah, there's like not really much to even say about it. It's just decent, and I would only really
Hmm.
recommend people see it if they like Paul Thomas Anderson, specifically if they like his second and third films, because this one has the most in common with the both of those.
Yeah. Or if you're, I would say you could check it out if you're in the mood for a gambling kind of movie.
They
Like,
do some
there's
things
definitely,
uniquely in
it's
this
a
that I
very
haven't seen, like
genre.
the whole
Yeah.
infinite money glitch is not something that I've encountered or seen before.
Yeah, it's a tight movie, structured well, just not terribly interesting,
Hmm.
and obviously, like we said, just laying seeds for what's to come.
Hmm.
But this was not your number 10. Your number 10 was Licorice Pizza,
Hmm.
which I had as my number 9.
Yep.
So, not terribly different. But explain to me why you think this one is the worst movie of all time.
Oh my god, it's just my least favorite of his because I think it's overly long, and it's a nostalgia piece about the is it the 70s,
Hmm.
which he's already tackled other
True.
films in that decade with sort of similar vibes and stuff. This one's really interesting because it's in that era where he's making films focused on like one or two main characters compared to his second and third films, which are more ensemble. And this has like sort of a mix of both, where it's the two main characters, but they sort of go on like a journey where they're meeting a wide variety of kooky and interesting characters and stuff. Um, so it's sort of like a surreal nostalgia slice of life thingy that I'm not like immensely attached to.
Hmm.
The for one, you have the whole problematic romance aspect of it, where there's
Oh
the
my,
age
of
gap. She's like
course.
20 something, and he's like in high school. So that's
Hmm.
sus, and I don't like that. Um, I think we mentioned it in some other video where we like vaguely mentioned this film and we went over the idea that like
Mm-hmm.
just because it exists in the film doesn't mean that the people
It's
support it.
depiction is
Obviously.
not endorsement, but it does make it hard to root for the main heroine in this movie. Although, you're not supposed to necessarily view them as flawless individuals. They're all young and stupid. But I do agree with you. There's not really a plot to speak of. It's mostly just kind of episodic moments and vignettes. It feels very fast and loose, and more about like a building, like a vibe. It's just kind of
less than like more emphasis on that than like a actual narrative to attach yourself to.
Which is interesting because there's not many movies like that from him. Maybe the most similar would be Punch Drunk Love in that case. In that kind of dream like less narratively focused vibe, but still I do like this one a little more than Heart 8 just because you can tell like this is obviously one of his most recent films.
It's much more professional.
It's much more professional. It looks great. It's just like better structured and edited, and the sound is better, acting is better, I think. Like you said, there's maybe not so much for me to directly relate to or like engage with, as opposed to like a Heart 8 where I'm following this main character and his
there's like interesting things
protege.
happening with the development of the master and protege, and then
there's much more personal stakes, whereas this is more of an existential kind of love story, anti-love story. I don't even know.
It's something.
It's I think it just barely squeaks by Heart 8 for me because of those high quality aspects to the filmmaking. It just made it more interesting and engaging to watch for me.
That makes sense. And I would guess that most people would agree with that, taking it above Heart 8. They're both decent films overall. We feel very similarly about them. But he has better, namely one that I'm guessing that we have the exact same. But I think you have to
at
say
number
it.
8 would be Inherent Vice for me.
Yeah, that's what I have also.
Yeah. And this is another interesting swing from him. For those viewers who might be more familiar with the One Battle After Another, this is another movie that Paul Thomas Anderson loosely adapted from a Thomas Pynchon novel. Same author. So in that way of where things are like really kind of exaggerated, kind of strange and like almost campy, the names are all weird as fuck, and this, you're still in LA, but like it's a strange LA, and it's very kind of druggy and psychedelic. It's one that I did not rewatch this for the movie, so my rating is coming off of like when I watched it years ago, and I remember really enjoying it. It's one of my brother's favorite, and I watched it with him, and I remember loving how like funny it was. It is just so kind of absurd and like in your face and weird and kind of crass, but it's also very hard to follow, which is on purpose.
Yeah, it's
because
purposely
of
convoluted.
The stoner kind of humor behind our PI that we're following. But it's an interesting one from him. When did it come out? 2014. So kind of after some of his more well-known ones, and There Will Be Blood and The Master.
I respect him for doing something different.
Yeah,
I mean, There Will Be
like
Blood is
more of a
also like a
passion
loose adaptation. This one, apparently is to compare those films. I think this one follows the book
more
closer to the point where like the author was like this slaps, or like the author's family or whatever was like, this is awesome. or I think. I don't know. But yeah, this film is unique for sure. It gives off like Big Lebowski vibes in that it's like a sort of an incompetent dude investigating this big mystery thing that has a lot of moving parts to it, and he's not really following it. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter, and the mystery is not really solved. It's interesting to have something in the mystery genre where that's something that's happening, and it's happened a couple of times. I don't know if there's a term for
yeah,
that sort
Under
of
the Salt Lake,
Under the Silver
Under
Lake.
the Silver Lake is another similar one. It is such an interesting kind of subgenre of movies about LA. I don't know why they're all kind of similar.
On LA.
Yeah, it's something about, I don't know, something in the water there.
Something about the
seems
mystique.
like.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
or in the air.
but
it's
think we
entertaining.
agreed.
Like you said, it's funny. You said you didn't rewatch this at all. I did. I rewatched all of them. And my take for, I mean, pretty much all of his films in general that I watched for this, rewatch for this most recent time, I had like the same feelings almost. And it was definitely that for this one. I was entertained by it. It's not the most impactful film as far as where he again eventually goes. I know we're sort of saying that a lot with the other two, but it's true. He has better films than these three.
Yes.
So it's another entertaining time. It's much more interesting than the other two, and you get a lot of sort of wacky, interesting moments here, and it's superior to Licorice Pizza, which has a similar sort of, we're going to meet wacky characters, and it's also, I guess, sort of almost more about vibes than it is like actual narrative. But this one works more because, I don't know, why would you say, like, the main character's a little bit more interesting and he's more distinct, and the things that are actually happening, again, it could be a uniqueness factor.
I think in my case, it is definitely just the audacity, the strangeness of this film is kind of makes it stand out and immediately makes me more receptive to it. It is also just, I thought this one was one of his funniest movies, in my opinion, which is why I kind of rate it higher than A Hard Eight or Licorice Pizza in this case.
It's definitely funnier than both of those.
High praise. But now that we're out of the bottom three, this is the rest of this list is going to be
anything goes.
Open season.
I have a hot take for my number 7, if you would like to hear it.
I do want to hear this because I think I have a hot take too.
Ooh. Okay. Well, my number 7 is Phantom Thread.
Okay. Okay. Number 7. All right, that's fair. Yeah. All right, my number 7. Magnolia.
No. Wow.
I don't know which one is more hot of a take.
Yeah.
But we'll explain it. We'll explain ourselves once we get there.
We'll defend ourselves.
Yes.
Through each other.
But for my number 6, I have One Battle After Another.
Oh, man. When are we going to hit one in common? Because my number 6 is Punch Drunk Love.
Okay, that's my number 5. So we're getting closer.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
but
I was about to say, I have to say my number
5,
5
yes,
and
yes.
then you say your number 5. My number 5 is The Master, but we'll talk about that later because right now we have to talk about Punch Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk Love landing at 6 for you, 5 for me. That seems reasonable. That seems more reasonable than having a Phantom Thread. So, but it is what it is. No, Punch Drunk Love is another funny one, fun one, another one of his romances, an earlier one. I believe this was his 4th film. And like I said, this is kind of his first step away from the bigger ensemble roles that he was kind of casting for in Boogie Nights and Magnolia. This one, stripped back, you just get a fantastic performance from Adam Sandler, which, kind of helped him break out of his
you would not have Uncut Gems without this film. He wouldn't be in the movie with George Clooney, Jake Kelly. You wouldn't have that without this film.
Nope.
The Meyerowitz stories, this put him on the map for not being in stupid comedy.
Yeah.
Which interestingly, this film still has overlaps with other stupid Sandler comedy films. Like there's a fight scene in this where he like beats up a bunch of dudes somehow in like a feat of rage. It makes like a little bit more sense in this film because he has like there's a term that I want to use, but the people will the people will cancel me. So for those who know, you know. But he has that, and it's at least explained a little bit in this film. Where most other films where he has like a moment where he's like beating up a dude twice his size, it's just complete like, what is happening? What is this? This is stupid, and I don't like this movie. But when it happens in this, it's like sort of funny.
Yeah, I love how kind of there's such an interesting emotion, or like the direction of this movie is not as like direct as his other films, in my opinion. It's more dreamy. You're following a character who has, you know, a lot of problems. He's awkward and very like kind of stewing in this anger that is constantly building up, and he needs this release of loving someone and like being in a relationship. But there's obviously a ton of trials and tribulations to get there. But I think it's the soundtrack that really does it for me. John Bryan does this one, and I'm such a fan of like all of his soundtracks for, you know, what does he do? He does Endless Sunshine, or Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind, and other Charlie Kaufman films. And it just adds to this kind of whimsical, childlike nature that is keeping this film from going like off the rails, which it does in certain periods. But overall, I think this one is just, it's a super fun protagonist to root for. And the chemistry between Adam and Emily Watson is great. Just a really fun movie. It's crazy that it's, you know, halfway through the list for us, but because like I know there's so many people that love this and have it like rated as
this
one
would
of
be their
best.
favorite, and it's completely reasonable.
It's
like
valid.
we said, the top 7 or anything goes. And even if you like Licorice Pizza and the other two, it's like you're wrong, but you know, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
this film is awesome though, because like we said, it's that breakout for Adam Sandler, not as an actor, but as a serious actor. You know, before this he was only in stupid films. After this, he was in 99% stupid films, and then every once in a while he's in an absolute banger where he plays a very unique, interesting character where the acting requirements are very precise, and he delivers very, very good things in this film here. And it's a very interesting one just on that respect. And then also, like you said, him breaking away from the two films that came before it, which are more ensemble based. And this is way, way more focused and tight on just really one main dude, and then sort of the relationship he has with the main love interest. And I just love the characters in general in this film. Like the sisters he has like how many, like 5 or 6 of them, and they're all just like the biggest assholes ever to like him.
But it's such a family. It's so real. Like the writing, obviously it's very heightened for certain moments, but some other moments, like some of the characters that he can write, just are so real and so immediately like viscerally apparent. That the conflict that he has with them and then how they react, I think is just so great. It's like they have no awareness of how they are like impacting him.
No, they don't give a shit.
Oh, he's just my brother. Yeah, he's just there.
They don't give a shit, and then like one of their husbands like sort of almost cares, but then still is like, this dude's weird. I should disassociate from him. But yeah, it's really cool in that regard to get the whole aspect of him doing like the call scam thingy with the online.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's scam.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is the boss with the
yeah.
laundromat money laundering place.
That conclusion or the conflict that they end up having at the encounter that they have is such a good one. Towards the very end of the film.
Yeah. Philip Seymour Hoffman is my favorite actor ever. And he gets a lot of love in the Paul
From
Thomas
PTA.
Anderson world because he's in
Yes.
like
He's been in every film
four
that
of
we've
his films.
talked about except for Licorice Pizza at this point. Or was he in Inherent
He was
Vice?
he was in. I don't think he was in Inherent Vice, but he
He
was in A
might have
Hard Eight for a
been
very
dead.
brief scene that was very fun and over the top, and
Yeah.
I think mostly improvised for him
Mhm,
just being like a gambling addict at the table. It
mhm.
was kind of funny. And in this, he plays a very over the top, evil, illegal businessman.
That has like it's such a good twist on like he's very pathetic in and of it's
Yeah, and
himself
he
and
has
like
rage issues also. Like he's
he's
like
such a
a
great foil
yeah,
to
yeah.
Adam Sandler's character, and whenever they have, for the most part, they're only
When
talking
they're on
over the
like the phone
phone.
together,
Yeah,
it's great.
it's so good. Yeah, great performances throughout, and it is a smaller cast, but everyone gets the chance to kind of flex and live inside of these characters that I think are so well written.
Hmm. Yeah, it's both like light and tone, and then it also can have like random intense moments, but it's still
Hmm.
overall like a very positive, uplifting, like nice, sort of feels good film that's unique from a lot of other sort of feels good rom com things. It's very different from most of those, which is something I appreciate at the very least. So that's my number six.
All right.
Your number seven.
Um, yeah, and that was my number five. So
Oh, was it?
my
My
number
bad.
four, my number four is The Master, which
Hmm.
was your number five.
Yes, sir.
And you know, I think I prefer this just a little bit over Punch Drunk Love for me because of how good it looks. This is, I think, his best looking movie. Um, just something about shooting on film and how it's captured. The contrast, the saturation, everything's just tuned so perfectly. And then obviously, this is a really kind of interesting character study of two people, another kind of interesting power dynamic between a mentor and a protege
Hmm.
kind of relationship, uh, could be viewed through the lens of like a abusive father, like a estranged relationship there that he seems to really enjoy analyzing
Hmm.
and depicting in his movies. This one is maybe the most like directly psychological that he gets with it,
Yes.
just because for those of you who don't know, this is kind of a loose depiction of Scientology and how it was kind of started in America. It's a period piece in that way, and the performances from Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman are just fantastic, really gripping, and the there are a few scenes that are like etched into my brain forever
Yes.
just because of, like their performances and how they read the lines, how they kind of play off of each other.
Hmm.
Just super impressive stuff.
Yeah, there's
Great
obviously like
movie.
the iconic like jail cell scene where
Yeah,
Joaquin
the
Phoenix is throwing a
interview.
fit,
Hmm.
and then Philip Seymour Hoffman's being like, "I'm your only friend in
Yeah,
your entire life," or whatever. And then yeah, the interview scene is probably my favorite in the
yeah.
film. It's just so like masterfully done. Honestly,
The
he was supposed to not blink, and he stopped him one time when he did blink, but I think he blinked again, and then he did not stop him. Which I don't know if
yeah,
that was
they
intentional or
have
not.
like the just the way that the film is constructed with like the foreground, the background, how people are talking to each other with the the different shots. Um, it's all great. I also really like Amy Adams' character as
Hmm.
sort of a more because Philip Seymour Hoffman as the master in this movie, plays a relatively pathetic character. You can tell that there's kind of
Yeah,
a lot of bluster
when he shouts
that
"pig
he's
fuck" at the dude,
yes,
that was unnecessary.
unnecessary.
Hmm.
But his wife kind of serves to be a good foil and kind
A good
of
like grounded Like,
Yeah,
because
an
the whole thing is
enabler.
like you need he's this over the top figure, but you need like real people to attach to him, and she sort of directly is that by being
Mm-hmm.
his wife, and his son too, played by Jesse Plemons, is also sort of like a fairly normal dude, and even his son-in-law Rami Malek, like they're all
Mm-hmm.
believing in him and doing like whatever he's doing, but they're not like crazy over the top people,
Yeah,
which
the
creates like a more
relationship.
grounded, like believable. This is how this thing could have happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, by kind of feeding into this power vacuum that he is.
Hmm.
As it's very interesting because you know Joaquin's character and Phillips, they have like they're the inverses of each other. Like they find something in each other that they desperately need themselves,
Hmm.
and so it's just like a crazy kind of traumatic, abusive love story. I don't know who could really
Hey
say.
yo, you're seeing the
PJ
master's
loves
yaoi.
he
We know
loves
Toxic
showing these
Yuri, but
love
this is
stories.
Toxic Yaoi.
This is toxic yaoi.
By the end of the film, he was like, I don't ever want to see you again. We're going to be enemies in the next life. Because they didn't get married and he ran away from him.
You're just really
Damn.
upset. Jilted lovers, really sad stuff.
Yeah. This film is awesome. Like you said, that it might be his most beautiful film. I don't know. That's a statement.
It is a statement, and I stand by it.
Okay.
But I understand, if other films might look better. In any case, that was number 4, correct? So, on to
For
your number
you.
4.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4 is One Battle After Another. So let's get into it. Because this was your number
All right.
7.
I had it a little lower. I had it at number 6.
Okay.
Yeah, this was obviously one that kind of took the world by storm last year. Got him a bunch of Oscars, and I believe his first Best Picture win,
Oh, really?
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But it was good to see that he got his flowers. In this case, it is a great movie. We talked about it on the Podcatchers.
Yes.
But I think as another film kind of inspired by Thomas Pynchon's writing, I found it super funny. I love how kind of over the top and absurd some of the characters and the names and just the situations that they get into. In addition to that, this seems like his most contemporary film, just in terms of kind of topics and themes, which was interesting because he likes his period pieces. He likes keeping things sort of out of time or even kind of looking back. A lot of nostalgic pieces with the Boogie Nights and Licorice Pizza that we were talking about. This seems like the most contemporary / forward-thinking in his filmography, which I think it's cool. Because he doesn't really tackle it much. I'm kind of glad to see his perspective on modern times.
Because the book was, I think it took place in the 2010s or something. But this feels like it exists in 2030, 2040, in the slight future, if there was a slight dystopian angle that America took or something. So it is more political in that way, to the point where depending on where you lean, you might be more inclined to like or dislike this film based on what it's saying, compared to his other films where that's, I would say, less emphasized. You know what I mean? But yeah, we've obviously talked about this each before in the past. But to reiterate, the characters are great. It's another feat of great acting, great performances all around. There's that. I don't know if you saw it, but between the time we talked and us talking now, there was Thomas Flight, the YouTuber. He released a video about
best versus
quiet
most
and
acting.
loud acting. And this film is a very good example of that, because you get Sean Penn's character, who's a very over the top character, and I compared him to an anime character as if they were plucked out of an anime and placed within a Western American Hollywood picture. And then you get stuff like Regina Hall or Benicio del Toro, where it's a lot more grounded in their performances, but they're still like just rock solid. And dude, that scene in the bathroom of Regina Hall, Thomas Flight used it as an example too,
Yeah.
but it stuck out to me a lot. Like where she's like revealing
It is,
herself, and
yeah.
it's just so like you need that sort of very specific and tight emotional performance there, and it's just
It's so
handled so
restrained.
perfectly.
Yeah, with how it's also restrained in how it's depicted because she's just in the bathroom,
Yeah,
washing her hands.
you see her from
You
like the
slow-
reflection, but it's like
but
10
you
or
slowly
15 feet away.
it's all audio first because you hear the siren kind of going from that the alarm that she has, and you're like it's kind of bleeds into over the music that's going on. Yeah, we don't have to go into specifics about this one scene, but you know it's just
We might as
to
well. We
show
got the time.
that he has such a elevated sense of filmmaking, especially now, you know, 20 years on into his career, 30, close
Yeah,
to
almost
30.
30.
Yeah, he's a master, and now you get to see him just flexing all his muscles. This is a very big movie. It's grand, ambitious, in a different way than he kind of burst on the scene with, where this is not as much of a direct ensemble film that I would kind of compare with like Boogie Nights or Magnolia, but instead it's kind of ambitious in the avenue of going, you know, multiple generations. You get the time skip in the middle. It's just like large, loud. It looks great. This is another super well shot film. Great pace and tension, and then also that humor. Yeah, it's a really good film. Yeah, I have it as 6, and it's like 6 seems so low. It seems like blasphemous, but I think all of the other ones that we've talked about, I just like more because I get more out of the characters involved. I like Leo's character, and I obviously like the themes and everything. Destiny's or Chase Infinity's character.
Yeah,
but
was this like her first acting gig or something? Or
It's-
like
I
she's
believe
only
it's
done
her
like
first.
1 or 2?
Yeah,
Bro.
so super impressive.
Yeah, that's
It's not the
nuts.
first time that PTA has like gotten great first time actors, but
Or
yeah.
or the first time serious acting out of
True.
existing actors who've only been in stupid dumb stuff. Yeah, I also like a lot how the characters, even on the good side, are not necessarily depicted as 100% good. Obviously, you have Tiana Taylor sort of not caring as much about the baby, and also getting that like jealousy aspect, which I think there is some psychology term for like when the parent,
Yeah,
one of the
postpartum
parents,
depression and
Oh, yeah.
jealousy. It's
you know it,
yeah,
you know it because you've been
being
there.
pregnant will, you know, fuck you up. And I like there's some controversy about surrounding this movie and its depiction of black women.
Yeah,
Which
there's
I
like the
understand.
jungle pussy when she's
Yeah.
introducing herself and in the bank, and it's over the top and it's odd for sure.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think
I think it's
yeah.
handled with grace, and it's handled with like a good kind of a goodwill, and also I think it's just such an engaging and kind of it really makes you confront things that you might not normally confront. I think Perfidia's character is such a good character. One of my favorites that he's written, just because of how complicated her choices seem and how much he's able to kind of help you understand where she's coming from without ever going like and explaining her actions or like kind of giving you a right or wrong answer.
She's not like really being defended in this film, and she is complicated and interesting because she's like with Leo, and then she is wanting to have a relationship with Sean Penn. Like she's not afraid or shy of engaging with it because she sees it almost like as a power
It's a tool.
dynamic over him of like I'm dominating this dude who's on the opposing team, and she's like sort of feels that as empowering. Like it's interesting, you know.
It's a really kind of chaotic and messy film, with I think great themes of you know hope, acceptance, forgiveness, obviously moving forward, and hopefully kind of passing the fight along. Got to carry the flame.
Yeah. And I have to say it again. I love the part where Leo he forgets the code. To me, that's like, what do I compare that to? Like, what's people's common consensus favorite scene in any film? Like, this is that because when I was younger, I would watch all these shows and films and stuff, and like people would give instructions to other characters, and I didn't really notice or think it at the time, but I think now I've realized that my short-term memory is not especially great. So I would like picture myself in those scenarios and be like, there's no way I would remember that. How do these characters remember all that? That's
are
crazy.
they writing it down or anything?
Yeah, exactly. And I would only I feel like those moments where a character forgets that sort of important stuff is only explored in like a parody. Like I could think the only other example I could think of the top of my head, at least, is like in Family Guy, they're parodying Shawshank Redemption. And it's like the end of the film where the character's like leading him based on like various hints. And it's like one of the hints is like, whatever years ago I told you such and such thing. And that's the hint. And then the dude is just like, shit, I don't remember. And, the intention of that is to make fun of or parody the like story because other people have thought that sort of takeaway that I have as well, which is, how do they remember that? And it's actually handled quite well in this film, in like a legit, still funny, obviously, but like within a legit story. It's just nice to see, in my opinion. And I also really enjoyed the Christmas adventurers, the like white nationalist,
the KKK
cult.
adjacent.
The modern KKK, and I think Sean Penn's end is like perfection for him to be taken out by the exact system that he reveres so much. Like, it's so good because like he comes back and you're like, oh shit, he survived the fucking car crash. What is this man made of? And then like him like trying to defend himself to them is so funny. And then him
it's
being
such
taken
a good
out
performance
there.
from him.
Oh yeah, dude, it's so awesome. It's very funny.
An excellent addition to his very lengthy list of classics.
He's one of like 12 actors to get the best actor Oscar twice.
Yeah, he's got a lot of nominations under his belt. Weird guy, but
yeah, apparently he's not nice in some ways.
Yeah, just seems strange, and
I saw some for the behind the scenes of the Thin Red Line, which he's in. I have the Criterion for that film, and there's like some interviews behind the scenes, and they're like, I feel like they're like interviewing him at his house, and he's like smoking and wearing like loungewear, and it looks like he doesn't even give a shit, and like it's cutting between him and other people who are like in more professional locations, and he just is answering questions like he doesn't even fucking care. So I think that says something about him, at least at that time. That was almost 20 years ago. Maybe.
Even this year, he didn't even accept his own Oscar. I think he was in Ukraine talking to Zelensky or something like that. He just kind of does his own thing.
Hey. He's solving real world issues. He's busy.
Maybe attempting to.
Who knows? But yeah, anyways, let's... I want to say one more thing. The ending is really interesting because it's... When you think of stories like this, where you have a group of characters continuously in some sort of conflict over time, you think, oh, the end is they resolve it, they get out of it, they live a life of peace. But not for this one, because the title is One Battle After Another, and they mean that quite literally. Like, the daughter just goes right into another revolution because, I mean, the previous attempts to, what are they trying to do? They're trying to liberate the immigrants, which works in some ways but doesn't work on like the grand scale. So there's still like more fights to fight. So
yeah, the systems that are enslaving them and jailing them are still in place, and so the battle's not done until the systems are dismantled. But
yeah, and it's interesting because it's probably going to cause like a similar situation where she's going to like have a kid, and then maybe it's she's not with it because she's either dead or she's just off somewhere else and hiding. You know what I mean? It's interesting to see like the cycle repeat itself, but like purposefully.
That's why I respect this film so much for its like the themes and
Yeah.
the lack of conclusion, or like the lack of really. It's just more willing to leave you wanting more, or leave you without a direct kind of position to agree with, or anything like that.
Hmm.
Definitely a great one from him.
Yes, sir. Okay, that was my number 4. Who goes
That was
next?
you do, which
Okay.
goes to your 3. Yeah.
Okay, my number 3 is There Will Be Blood.
Okay. My number 3, Boogie Nights.
Ooh.
And my number 2 is There Will Be Blood.
Oh.
So we're getting to
That's interesting.
the top ones.
Yes, sir.
Which one is missing for you? I believe I know. So that'll be interesting to talk about.
Well, I have two more to say.
We have them swapped. But yeah, regarding There Will Be Blood, which is your third.
Yes. And which one is it for you?
It's 2 for me.
Okay.
I'm surprised it's so low for you, considering how obviously
Oh, low.
how
This is
popular
one
one
placement
is.
low.
I, people, and that's not just me. I'm saying this is number 29 in the top 500 of all time on
Letterboxd.
Letterboxd. This is a lot of people's
Yeah, it's a 4.5,
favorite
which
movie
is
of all time.
huge.
4.5 average rating for a lot of ratings. Watched by 2 million people roughly.
Yes.
This is probably his most well-known movie at this point. This came out in 2007, which is
I don't know if I'd say
insane.
it's his most well-known. I explained what it was to my parents. They're like, they didn't know what
Really?
it was. They
I
never
guess
heard
it's
of it.
maybe
They know
one
what
battle
Magnolia
after
is,
another
though, 'cause
now,
it's-
but
it
yeah.
depends on your age,
True.
maybe.
But this was kind of what the steps that he took with Punch Drunk Love, in stepping away from the ensemble and kind of stripping it down. This just takes it to the next level. Super stripped back, largely silent. There's not a ton of dialogue.
Yes.
This is, I could see why people might argue this is one of the best looking films that he's shot. Everything is
Yeah, that's
framed
probably where my thing would go.
immaculately.
But it's part of that just because it emphasizes it more. So maybe it's like that Thomas Flight discussion where it's louder visuals
exactly.
versus the Master where it's quieter.
And I love the soundtrack with Greenwood. He does such a good job of kind of creating this percussive element throughout the entire film that just like it acts as like a beating heart. There's just this engine below the surface of this movie that is just kind of driving it forward, which is, entwined with the
Yeah, it's a
lead
perfect way to
character.
put it because that's how he is.
He's just a machine. It's hard to really view him as human, even though what he's
And
doing
even
is
sort of
incredibly
admits to
human.
that.
Yeah, he's sort of a character. He has the name of Daniel Plainview, but really,
That's a
he
mask.
seems more
He's
of
the
a
devil
yeah,
underneath.
He's just a man, or a shade. Obviously, Daniel Day-Lewis, many people's favorite actor of all time. This is one of his best, probably his best performance. Just really great. It's just, this is such a unique film. I remember
Yes.
watching this way back when, and it's unlike a lot of things that I had seen before, just because of how quiet it is, how reserved it is, and the conflicts are all there. It's still like incredibly tense. There are really impactful moments and set pieces. The conflict between Daniel Day-Lewis's character and Paul Dano, I think, is great. Paul Dano,
Yes.
I think
Fuck
he's
you,
great in this
Tarantino.
film.
Paul Dano is fantastic in this film when he
I
does
think
like the
he's
little
really
boy
good.
that shrieks.
Yeah.
He's such like a slimy
He-
grease bag. You know what
I
I mean?
know Tarantino
sort of
thinks
trying to
that he
disguise
should-
himself
He
as
should be
the
more
good
imposing,
guy.
maybe, and like try and like match him, but he's not supposed to.
perfect.
He's a great foil to
Yes.
Plainview's relentless endeavors and that kind of great of the American dream and the idea of the West and the frontier. And Paul Dano as character, as the preacher, It's an interesting mirror in terms of the idea of, the church and organized religion being largely a mirror of, capitalistic tendencies and the drive for the American dream. Just great conflicts and themes to be explored here, and none of it's really deliberately explained to you or exposed to you, or like it's all kind of just left in the background for you to engage with and view with at your own pleasure and at your own leisure.
But I think what you said was quite accurate of him being a mirror, because I mean that's why Daniel Day-Lewis's character hates him so much, because he's seeing himself and he's seeing a manipulative scumbag in the body of somebody else who's succeeding.
He just sees himself in the mirror. Iconic lines. I've abandoned my boy. Great.
I've abandoned my child.
There. Well, he's abandoned both.
He said that also, I guess. Yeah, you follows that up with that. But the main line is, "I've abandoned my child."
Yes, and drink your milkshake. Lick it all up. Excellent stuff.
You get a lot of great.
It's an iconic movie.
It's. I almost enjoy thinking about this film more so than watching it, because it is.
I kind of agree.
So much slower than like it might seem while talking about it, because, like you said, it has a lot of quiet moments. And I gave it the same rating, which is an 8 out of 10, the first time and the second time. But I feel like the first time I watched it, that was more of like a fake rating. I'm like watching it at the start of my career of film watching. And I'm like seeing the average user rating, and I'm getting affected by that and being like, I must have an opinion that is held in a regard that is respectable, and in order to achieve that, I must abide by the sort of standard array of average user ratings on Letterboxd. So I did that back then, but now I appreciate it a lot more. That main character of Daniel Day-Lewis playing him is so unique. He's one of the most unique and interesting fictional characters out there. And a very big part of that is the performance. I am surprised to see Daniel Day-Lewis, the actor, held in a very high regard, not because he's a bad actor, but because he's not really in a whole lot.
I kind of agree.
I absolutely agree. I'm surprised by people hyping up as the GOAT of all time, when really it's this role and Phantom Thread, where it's like two amazing, fantastic roles. I haven't seen Lincoln. In Gangs of New York, he's good in that. In Age of Innocence, he's very good in that. I haven't seen The Last of the Mohegans. I haven't seen In the Name of the Father, but it's like, that's like, what, 7
There's
films?
There's not that
or 6
many
films,
iconic
you know what I mean?
Performances out of him, right?
Yeah,
like,
I feel like it's this. This film is why people are like, he's the greatest actor of all time.
Yeah. I think it's just the mystique behind him, largely.
I agree. Yes, I was going to say that also, because it's actually because he's not in too many things, and because he's open about the method of like taking a long ass time to perfect a character.
It's not leaving character even when on set. It's
so if Daniel Day-Lewis is your favorite actor, you're a fraud, and you need to grow up.
You don't even know real ball like that.
Like Philip Seymour. I mean, if you had to compare the two, maybe Daniel Day-Lewis is a better one. It's a difficult thing to measure, because each film is gonna be different.
And if we're speaking only on like factors. Showing up in a lot of movies, well then like you have to put some respect on Willem Dafoe's name, because he's been in like 30 classics or something like that. And maybe he's not always the leading role, but what does that mean when it comes to best actor? It's a discussion for another time. Regardless, Daniel Day-Lewis stand out in this movie. He really makes it. I can't imagine this movie being anywhere near the same with
maybe he has somebody else.
Character,
if
really.
Joaquin Phoenix is the fucking main character.
Yeah. Honestly, it probably would have been fine, and I believe
it would have been good.
PTA would have had a great performance from anyone, but it makes an iconic performance.
Wholly unique.
Yeah,
because of him. Because he's doing like it for me on my second viewing. It was almost like a hurdle to get over to like accept his. He has a very over the top voice, which I get it. He studied John Huston or whoever the fuck to like perfect this like very specific voice and accent, but it's just like so over the top and different from literally the way that every single other character is talking in the film, which is just like a normal American accent
rehearsed.
or a Southern.
It's almost accent. It's like a Nightcrawler-esque character from Jake Gyllenhaal, in that movie, where he's psychotic. He's literally mentally ill, and he has practiced these lines in order to come across as a relatable human being. Look at me. I'm human. I'm here to inspect your mind, and I want to do deals with you. When really there's nothing behind him. If you called me Norman, you would agree. Yes, like it's such a good depiction, and the themes behind this relentless expansion west, and the thirst for oil, and all of it. It's just a great, really monumental film. I have it as a 9, and I can see why people put it as a 10. I really do. I think in my case, it's just, it didn't strike that unique kind of spark that, will make me rate a movie a 10. 10s are like, reserved to those ones that, I don't know, it just has that extra edge.
Yeah, need, like, it's very good on top of, I'm very emotionally attached to it.
Yeah, and I don't think this was it for me. Regardless, I do have just one more that I would rate.
Yeah.
Higher,
out of
not even higher.
My films that I have ranked that are not number one, this is the one I could see the most in the future, in like 5-10 years from now, being in that position. It's a big thing to swallow though, and don't be afraid if you watch it for the first time and you're like, I'm not really super into that, because it is a big thing to digest, and you do have to be like, because it's an atypical film for a number of reasons, and you do have to be in like a very I would say precise mindscape, because I am fairly surprised that its average rating is so high.
I think
not because it's a bad film.
Being slow, I think it helps that it's just so immersive. Immediately from that opening shot, where it's just like 5 minutes of him digging in the dark. I was gonna say like 10, 15 just like minutes all silent, like no oil rig. Like it just kind of forces you to engage with it on that kind of visceral level, where you are now following this main character, this digger. He's seeing where he has come from. You find out what he's about, why he wants to do this, and it just kind of thrusts you along with him. It really is such a propulsive film in that way of it just like never stopping. Like you're there, you're following this main character, and just like viewing his kind of the path of destruction that he takes. I think that's probably why most people are willing to sit with it. It's just because of how directly engaging it is. Really, it's just a cohesive experience in general. There's not much that'll like knock you out of a viewing experience, or be like there's ever, I don't know, like a joke that doesn't land or something that's like, oh, I'm watching a movie. Like, no, I'm gonna watch this front to back just because I'm locked in.
Yeah. Which, and it does also have comedic angles, but it's just a matter of like
absolutely
viewing and getting adjusted into his character to sort of realize that, similar to his character in Phantom Thread, where there's a real legitimate comedic angle with that character, but it's one that is not initially obvious, which is interesting.
Yeah, this one I think has like a lot of really notable extra performances, in my opinion, that I remember really standing out, just because this one felt almost akin to like a Coen Brothers in its use of kind of supporting actors that'll just like show up in these weird one-off roles where they're doing kind of unique, strange characters, doing a unique kind of out of time accent, and then just like
the
never showing up again
or whatever that he means.
Yes.
I like the scene when he's drunk with his son at the dinner table, and like the business associates who he decided not to do business with appear there, and he's like trying to egg them on.
Yeah.
And just like his because his accent is very distinct and unique, and I suppose well done overall. But his facial mannerisms are just like absolutely perfect. Like just stare at him in that scene. And I also have I think the Blu-ray for this, and there was like a deleted scene, like extended moment of his like drunken stupor in the restaurant. And just like staring at his face, he's like creating like the most perfect, like, I don't even know what to call it, facial mannerisms imaginable. It's just like a perfect embodiment of a fictional character.
Absolutely. But There Will Be Blood, my number 2, which means your number 2 is...
Oh, do I say next? For me,
so.
it's Magnolia.
Magnolia, which dropped a bit further for me. That was my number 7.
Which I understand, because I actually have I have understanding of why
Yes.
you might feel that way.
And Magnolia was one of the later films that I saw from PTA. And it was a little intimidating to check it out at first,
It's his
just because it's his longest. I had heard great things. A lot of people love this. I know a lot of people have this as, their favorites of PTA. And I can understand why. Immediately, this is like his most ambitious, the grandest, really strange structure to it. But I would say that it's edited and paced super well. I think the problem that I had is just because of how much of an ensemble it is. Not every
it's hard to attach to
different,
the specific subset.
It's really impressive. It's impressive how well he kind of weaves together each of these different disparate characters into one cohesive story. Because at the very beginning, you are definitely off guard and off balance as to, okay, who's this character now? What's the relation? Do they even know who, like what? And then slowly but surely, you kind of start to tug at the tapestry, and you get to kind of feel the direction and the kind of the themes that he wanted to explore with this one. Which, I mean, even when you're talking about that, it's just so grand in scope. Like, he wants to interrogate the entire like human experience with this one, so it's not really easy to analyze or watch in general because of that. I'm obviously there's great performances, great writing throughout all of these films that he's come across, and Magnolia is no difference. But I think because it just was a little too,
the scope's too wide,
meandering,
you're saying?
A little too wide, and not every character moment or plot really worked for me, which is why I kind of rate it a little lower.
Yeah, that's
especially
fair.
because it is one of his earlier films, right? This is his third that he's released, which is insane to release this as your third film, obviously.
It's a very big jump from his first to second film,
Yeah.
and then from his second to third, there's, I would still say, like a noticeable increase in quality, but not nearly as big of a jump. And then
yeah.
by the fourth, it's a very big spin on what he made before it.
Which I can understand why. After making Magnolia, I can understand.
I think he
wanting
just
to do
got
something
tired of
different.
that, and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
man, I am not doing this shit again. Because
Let me do
it's a big
something
undertaking,
different.
and there's a good reason why a lot of
So
films don't
this is
try
a
to be
really-
like this.
It's a really interesting kind of entry into his filmography, because, he was on this track of doing these grand ensemble pieces and maybe just being like almost typecast as a director into doing these all the time.
Yeah,
and
he
just
could have been the
said
one-trick pony
no.
of ensembles. He could have been
Yeah.
the what's the disaster film guy who makes all the fucking
Tommy Wiseau.
end of the
or
world.
John
No,
Wiseau?
like
Oh.
he makes all like the end of the world type movies. What's the dude's name? He made the American Godzilla. Fucking End of Tomorrow or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
The one with Will Smith at the White House. Independence Day.
Yeah.
Roland Emmerich. That's the definition of a one-trick pony.
And
Roland Emmerich.
PTA said no, thank you.
Oh hell no!
I'm gonna do Punch Drunk Love, and then I'm gonna do There Will Be Blood, and y'all are gonna thank me. Y'all are gonna look back at my filmography and realize that I'm one of the goats, which is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you
I love this film.
to love this film so much?
I love this film. So, sort of opposite to you, this might have been my first film of his. I could actually, if we want to wait a minute for me to verify that, it was at the very least very early into me watching his stuff. So Magnolia, I saw on February 5th. 2020 was the first time I saw it. I've seen this one 3 times. I watched it with my brothers.
Really?
One time, and I rewatched it again. This most recent time, which on its third viewing is probably when I liked it the least. I feel like I had the most appreciation for it when I saw it the second time. I guess.
I think it's one that I should rewatch just because of how much is going on in it.
It's a good film to rewatch, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think it's awesome mostly for its editing and how it's able to essentially pace the film out with its length and number of characters so well. And like the way it bounces between the characters when it chooses to, which order it chooses to, I feel is very, very well thought out and handled overall. I agree with you in the sense that like it's difficult to attach to one particular character there, and I think obviously he goes off and explores that in future films that he tackles. But I think even like the Tom Cruise's character is very unique in this, where he's playing the seduce and destroy fucking
yes.
What's
it is
the
really interesting.
What's the term for like what's his like Andrew Tate?
Yeah, he's like
he's like the old version of that, where it's like at a convention,
the alpha male manosphere kind of guy,
exactly.
and
it's a very interesting,
like a pickup artist almost. It's such a great character, and he's probably my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah,
I love especially where he's taken to at the end. It is a super satisfying movie. It builds up so much in the beginning, and then you're kind of left with all these plates spinning, like what's happening, and then as over the course of the movie,
payoff.
It is a lot of payoff towards the end, and that that climactic moments.
You get the epic JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean reference at the end.
Exactly. I wonder if Araki referenced this movie. See, that's why he had it. He might have been a fan.
Yeah.
But great movie. Just not a personal favorite for me,
and that's fine.
I couldn't immediately relate to it, and it just didn't grasp me as much as his other films.
Yeah, because the other aspect of it, I was gonna say, is that like now that I've seen more movies since when I initially watched this, I've seen some films that I feel like have been sort of inspired by this, where they're trying to be ensembles and they're trying to be like this overly dramatic, pretentious sort of things. Like Southland Tales, I feel like it's sort of inspired by this. Or there was Crash, not the Cronenberg Crash, but like a different one by somebody else, and it feels like a similar attempt at like creating something like dramatic and I don't know, mystifying, and like thinking of itself as the greatest, most interesting thing ever. And this film like borders on that. Like there's sometimes where moments maybe almost feel stupid. You know what I mean? Like when they're all singing together and it's like bouncing between like the characters. Like when I was rewatching it this time, I was thinking about the fucking Dear Evan Hansen moment where something like that happens, where they're all like singing a song but like in separate locations and the camera's like cutting between them. Obviously it's better handled than this because the actual story it's in the midst of is more interesting and better. And it also, that's a musical, so it's going to be doing songs anyways. This is like more out of the blue and like, oh, this is doing something. We've used the word unique here a lot because that's what he does. He makes unique stuff. So that contributes towards that as well. And yeah, I just love the way that it mostly comes down to the editing and the pacing and the when it's deciding to do which event and what, and getting more of just sort of a glimpse at these people's lives rather than a dissection. So if you could go into that with that expectation in mind, I think you'll get good things out of this one. Again, compared to the other ones where he's got the magnifying glass or the telescope
More direct
on one person.
character analyzation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree. This might change if I were to rewatch it. But yeah, for me, sticking at 7.
That's fair.
But
That's fair.
that takes us to our number ones.
Yeah, I think I
which-
do my number one first, and then you say yours, or is it the other way around?
I think it's me first. I don't know. I have Phantom Thread as one, so
Oh,
you had that.
well, we have to get into
That's
this at some point. We got to strip the Band-Aid on this one. I fucking hate this film.
Which is, awful, obviously. But,
Which is awful.
after
DrewPeter is
getting
about to
into
just
why
become
I couldn't
bitter.
get into Magnolia, you get to explain why you don't like Phantom Thread.
Wow. I don't like it. I never said that. So it's comparable to There Will Be Blood in a couple of ways. For one, you get Daniel Day-Lewis playing
Familiar face.
a very distinct, unique character with a very distinct and unique voice and mannerisms, and a very precise acting role there, where he's also playing a character where there's a comedic angle to him that's not immediately obvious. It's just that, like, the story and the setting that he's in There Will Be Blood is a little bit more interesting to me compared to this one. I'd say, like, that's the main separation there, and also, like, the character itself I find more fascinating in There Will Be Blood. Obviously, this film is very good as well, and him playing his character is very good and interesting as well. This one is, like Punch Drunk Love, something that focuses heavily on a romance. And it's an interesting one because it's an over-the-top, overwhelmingly interesting and unique man with an ordinary woman, where a lot of fiction and a lot of films, at least that I've seen, show the opposite, where it's like a normal dude gets with, like, the fucking coolest, most epic lady ever. A lot of anime does that, so it's refreshing to see a twist on that, and not only a twist, but like a more sort of grounded approach to that, where they have real conflicts and they have, like, she's able to bring both, like, the best and sort of worst out of him, I'd say, with, like, his pettiness and but also, like, kindness and, like, his dedication to his craft. She's his muse, but not wholly, like, 100% a positive influence on his life necessarily, is what I'd have to say about that.
I mean,
relationship there.
This is exactly how I feel about this movie, and I value it so much more just because I like the theme. I mean, you said you like the world of There Will Be Blood more than Phantom Thread, but I feel the opposite. I like fashion. I think it's interesting of a character to.
That's a good difference between the two. You like fashion, I like westerns.
Maybe that's why this is my number one. He's just really speaking to me. But it's in part due to that. But also, I mean, this is one of my favorite looking films from him. It might not be, as well shot as The Master, in my opinion, but this movie as a whole, I think, works better, in my opinion. It's just, larger than the sum of its parts. I love the soundtrack, another score from Johnny Greenwood. Great, lovely, incredibly evocative soundtrack. But it's also very reserved. Like you said, this is definitely more in line with the direction from There Will Be Blood. So it's a lot of quiet, a lot of kind of shots of people not talking, just kind of looking at each other, wistfully, or
Eating.
just kind of eating a lot of food, a lot of great looking food. Everything looks good in this movie. Obviously the dresses and the where they're living. It's in 1950s London, so he's a very extravagantly dressed out fashion designer. So he has a huge mansion and lots of land to look over. It's just a gorgeous film, and like you were describing, this relationship I think is so good. He always has those great kind of conflicts between two people and just explores them super well. This is like akin to the master kind of situation where we were talking about having
There's an age dynamic in this.
There's an age and power dynamic
gap,
that is like really apparent. But
and
I
it's
love
played
how
well quite a bit.
I love how he plays with it. I love how he explores it and kind of toys with it. It's a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
But it's not really a endorsement of toxic relationships.
It's a
not
little
really
bit better
endorsing
than the
these
other
people.
age gap he has, because they're both adults in this, at least.
Yeah. And I just like how they're able to kind of tease each other, and there's a lot of times where they just don't like each other.
There's like some mind games at play.
A ton of mind games. I love the ending so much. It's one of my favorite endings of all movies. I love this, him sitting down and picking up the fork. Oh, it's so good. Because it's just so it's so intimate. It's so lovely. It's so romantic. Like, these people are maybe not good for each other, but it is intensely romantic, and the longing between them, the hate between them. It's just a really powerful film for how reserved it is, and I love that.
And it's not like over the top, like purely fictional hatred. Like you said, it's an accurate, more grounded depiction of this sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's grounded, and even with it being kind of reserved and grounded, I still think that the emotions at play and like the subtext behind this movie is so evocative and so engaging to me that it never feels like it's, I don't know, quiet or boring or like prim and proper. There's a lot of kind of dirtiness and like resentment and more kind of impactful feelings that are going on between these two characters, and just in the themes that it's addressing, which I love. It's just a great kind of dichotomy between the really reserved pomp and the circumstances of the character and the fashion and the setting, but with everything else, it's it's akin to a Punch Drunk Love, where you have it's a love story, but there's that bubbling anger underneath, and in this case
it's just channeled into a different thing. So it's channeled into the relationship in this, while meanwhile in Punch Drunk Love he's taking it out of Philip Seymour Hoffman.
And the reign of have an adversary. There's no direct antagonist in this movie.
Yeah, I was just
more of a and there's not even like a love, like a third wheel, or like someone to and if it's a rom-com that we're kind of comparing it to,
it has comedy, it has romance, but it's, if you had to put it in that genre, it's very atypical.
It is. But yeah,
his sister is sort of like the trying to get in the middle of them.
True.
Dynamic.
So I guess, but like it always feels like
same.
He is because he's such a imposing character and he has a lot of power. It very much seems like he's in the driver's seat in everything except for this relationship, which I love that. I love that dichotomy. I love having that kind of avenue to explore a character. He's only vulnerable with her. Yeah, and I think it's just a lovely story told very well by a really talented director.
And portrayed by talented people.
Yeah, but this is also... I don't think I have any of his films as a 10. I have this as a 9 too.
Even as I don't have any of his as 10s either. Like the top 2 are 9s, but that's it. That's it.
He's good, but he ain't that good.
No, sir.
Sorry, Peter.
Did he make?
I guess you just gotta.
Grand Budapest Hotel? No.
No, he did not.
And I think I have like literally 20 films as 10s.
So it's hard to get in there, but respect to PTA for trying.
I'm checking right now because I'm actually curious.
How many 10s you have?
Oh, I have 38 out of 2,500 something.
I have 30 out of 1,118.
So it's a tough situation to get in.
It is.
Involved in yourself there.
So he shouldn't feel, sad that he didn't make it into a 10.
Paul Thomas Anderson, if you're watching, don't let us keep you up at night. It's not the end of the world. It's
always something to strive for.
Only 30 films in existence have been on either of our 10 out of 10 list. So
you could always be better. Just remember that.
you have like 40 more years left. I'm sure you'll make a banger. Peter and I will revisit the subject in the future, and we'll be like, "Oh my god,
we'll re-rate things.
He's made 5 out of 10s." Now my list is 1/4 Paul Thomas Anderson in my 10 out of 10s list. Anyways, we have one more film to discuss. That being my number 1, which is Boogie Nights. And your number what?
It's a good pick. I have it 3. I had a feeling it was going to be top 3 for you. And it's interesting. You have this over Magnolia. So do I.
Which is interesting.
This definitely seems like the prototype to Magnolia, right? Like he goes from Hard 8 to Boogie Nights, one that is super grand and nostalgic and really ambitious with the ensemble and all of the huge cast of characters. This is probably my favorite ensemble film of all time.
Yes.
Best cast that I've seen. And he kind of elevates that in Magnolia, like we said. But I think it was to its detriment. I think Boogie Nights is like as good as you can get. In some ways, it's just such a impressive movie. We were talking about how ambitious and impressive Magnolia is. This one, for a sophomore film to come out with and be working with so many stars, and this is I guess a breakout role for Mark Wahlberg.
He's working with film stars and adult film stars in a second film.
This is probably his best performance. Absolutely his best performance. What am I
Mark
talking about?
Wahlberg's?
Dude,
100 fucking percent.
I was looking at his filmography.
He's got
I guess he's in The Departed.
He's in the. He plays
a side character
cop.
in there,
not a good cop, but like a good role.
This is definitely the most character work that he's ever had to practice, and it's great. Does a great job. I wish he did more of this stuff. And I know that he has gone out and said that he regrets this film and wishes that he didn't do it. It's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Mark Wahlberg. Don't piss me off. Nothing against Mark Wahlberg, I guess, but maybe he seems like a weird guy.
Something against him.
Yeah, probably a few things. But regardless, great performance in this movie. Great performances from everyone, and that's the thing. You get so much time to engage with the other characters in this movie, and they're all.
It's easier in this because the interconnection is all there. Where Magnolia is different people in different locations. In this, they all know each other. They're all in the same locations together,
which just makes it easier to immediately engage with everyone and form a connection with these characters. Which is why I kind of bounced off of Magnolia. Not obviously didn't bounce off. I like the movie, but it's more engaging in that way than Magnolia, just because it's a little more straightforward. Maybe in that way it's not as ambitious with its editing and pacing because it doesn't have
Definitely.
to be.
Yeah.
It's definitely more straightforward, but I prefer that because the characters and the oh man, some of there's just so many good scenes. The New Year's party, the various pool parties. Um,
I like
each
the scene where there's two beat up scenes happening at the same time. One of them, it's the main character getting beat up by not so good guys, and then and the other scene, it's the good guys beating up some
Mhm.
random dude. And
Yeah,
so it's a
this
really interesting like dichotomy of like, yeah, both parties are not very nice. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
There's, I mean, incredible editing and really inventive scenes. It's all good. As a sophomore film, it's nuts. Um, and the fact that it turned out
It's a
so well,
huge step up from
huge
his first one.
stuff. Um, and yeah, I'm a huge fan. This is a well-deserved number one, I think, for you. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Like it's immediately apparent, especially if you watch them in order and rewatch them in order like I did. The just from like the first scene alone at like the club where it's like the sweeping camera going across all of it and following Luis Guzman. Is that how you say
hmm
it? I don't know. Like just around that, and then the
yeah,
focus shifts to like another character, and then it shifts to like another character. It's all in like one very big shot. It's very
hmm
impressive and very. You get a lot of those in this film, especially. You
yeah.
get
There are a
some of
lot
them
of oneers.
in Magnolia. Like in Magnolia, you get when they're walking through the show, the
Hmm
game show studio, and it's following different characters saying different things to random people and like going up and down the stairs or elevators or entering rooms or whatever. You get a lot of long one takes in this where you're following perspectives of a couple different characters, and all of those are just like so perfectly handled. You know what I mean? Like it's super impressive what he was able to pull off for
hmm
his second film, being only I think a year older than myself right now, or 2 years older, but still, that's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of depressing when you think about it that way. He's making classics at 24. So
You
it's
call it
like, oh
depressing.
my
I call
God.
it impressive.
Impressive
Okay.
and something to look forward to.
Half
Um,
glass empty fella across the screen.
yeah. But like you said, like he was almost known for doing these really impressive oneers in the beginning, because he was flexing that with Boogie Nights is when it kind of popped off, and then Magnolia had a few. He
Hmm.
still kind of does that. I remember One Battle After Another has some. There Will Be Blood have a few, um, but he has such a diverse film palette and like a tool set as a director that he doesn't have to constantly kind of bash you over the head and be like, "Oh, look at this really impressive one take shot," because
Hmm.
obviously those shots are really impressive, hard to stage, super kind of taxing on a director to get everything right.
Yeah.
But they are really visually apparent to an audience member. It's pretty noticeable when everything is running and you can lose yourself in the shot when it's really well executed. And I think Boogie Nights probably has my favorites from him. Just
Yeah.
in that, like you said,
In terms of those.
that introduction to this world in 1970s and kind of setting the scene with a bunch of different characters that are you'll grow to love and hate. Yeah, just a super, like we said, ambitious film that
Hmm.
really he executed super well and kind of deserves a spot to be on the top of our list.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned earlier the whole Mark Wahlberg regretting it because I think Burt Reynolds said similar things. And the reason for
Yeah.
that is because and I'm sure other people have this takeaway too, where they're like viewing it as, what's the term, promoting the
Mm.
sort of adult film industry.
Yeah.
When I don't really think it's that at
Absolutely
all.
not.
It's because, like, the way I see it is in order to have an honest breaking down of something, you have to have a genuine buildup. You know what I mean? You have to be like, why are and how are real people involved in this stuff? And you have to do that in a genuine way. And then from there, you can start to break it down. Versus from the beginning, it's like the whole thing is bad from the get-go, and there's no money or attention or glamour, and there's like no reason for them to want to involve themselves in this industry. You know what I mean? Versus like what this film does, and it's definitely like, if you watch the first like fucking half of the film or like the first hour, obviously that's going to be your takeaway. Like, holy shit, the being in the porn industry must be so fucking awesome. Whoa. But like, if you see even the part where William H. Macy is like doing his shenanigans, or the many scenes that follow after that, it's none of it is an ideal situation, and it also has an interesting. It's almost like one battle after another, you know. It's one porn film after another. They all find ways to get back into the groove, into the swing of things, and probably have many more fights and more drama, and get involved in more shitty drug deals and bad situations, you know.
Yeah.
It's interesting in that way, almost like a sort of a trap, you know.
I cannot understand how anyone would ever watch this movie or be involved in this movie.
Yeah,
and
the
come away
two
with
the
it
two lead
thinking
actors.
that it endorses this. Yeah, it's nuts. It's not like it's degrading porn actors. Obviously, it's celebratory of them. They are humans in and of themselves. They are individuals. They each have their unique and different set of circumstances.
Yeah, well, that's my point. It's trying to be honest. It's not trying to be like, look at this filth. You know what I mean? It's trying to be like, look at these real people and these over the top situations in this film, obviously.
Like,
but it's
if you're an actor in the movie, you read the script, you have read the entire screenplay, not just the script.
I don't think Mark Wahlberg is qualified for that.
I'm talking about Burt Reynolds too. Anyone who's come across or comes away from like a masterpiece type film like this and says, "Oh, actually, I regret it."
I should not
unless
have
there's
been
some
involved
unless there's some insane controversy regarding the actual members involved with the filmmaking. Like if you have a Roman Polanski type beat or a Woody
which a lot
Allen
of people
type
are
beat.
still like, I love that man so much.
Exactly, but we're gonna be upset that we got our start in like one of the best movies
one of the best
of all time.
one of the best sophomore breakouts that has ever hit the scene.
It's virtue signaling, you know, but it's the worst kind of virtue signaling to try and be like, oh, actually, I didn't like being in the porn film
because the number one thing you don't want to do if you're in Hollywood is throw people you've worked with under the bus.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It seems unwise.
Well, for your career, it's unwise because then people don't want to work with you. Cause like, are they going to shit talk me publicly and try to deflame me?
Get blacklisted.
Make me look bad.
Oh no. Yeah.
Tisk tisk. So yeah, like it's even silly on that front, but even if you know the takeaway again for this film, it's rather silly.
Yeah.
So, but it's an important thing to mention and talk about. I feel like.
Absolutely. He's always kind of courted controversy in his films just because this is his sophomore film, right? So it's like you're bursting on the scene. A lot of people associated with Hard 8, and then you're doing a massive porn ensemble, and you're like, holy shit. And then, you know, he's mellowed out a little, definitely mellowed out as a filmmaker, I think. But he still has that controversy.
His most recent film, I'm sure, has sparked.
Yeah,
it sparked controversy in multiple ways because, like we said, the people saying dishonest depiction of black people, and then also some people probably disagreeing with the politics of immigrants and stuff like that. So it's almost like he's being, at least in that instance, being tackled on both sides of the political spectrum. And in this, it's mostly just sort of one side. He's returned to his roots, I think. In some way. That's the one battle after another. It's the meta-ness of him being attacked because he got attacked for Boogie Nights. Yeah. Which also had the themes of one battle after another where they're continuing their lifestyle. I think. But in this, he's continuously getting attacked. in real life.
I guess I'm thinking of One Battle After Another being his most contemporary film. I would say like Boogie Nights is maybe the next, but it's probably Magnolia or Punch Drunk Love. But there's something about the themes in Boogie Nights that just seems more timeless. It's just the idea of, trying to be a star, but obviously it's wrapped up in this massive ensemble with each character having their own individual problems. But yeah, it's a movie about family at the end of the day. The friends we found along the way.
Bro, Disney needs to hire this man. He will create the greatest Star Wars. It'll be an ensemble. He'll go back to his roots in this way. It'll be an ensemble. Where
means family.
It'll involve new characters and like existing characters in Andor and then the Mandalorian or whatever.
Holy shit.
They'll like be in the same.
So
and they'll be like swapping between
yes.
planets, but like there's ties that influence the different characters together.
We need to make this
It'll be the Star Wars
Yeah.
Magnolia. That would be so fucking epic. And I need it in my mouth right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
Shout
Did he
out
mean
PTA.
eyes and ears?
Mm-hmm.
Did we say that this film is fun? Because it is. It's very fun and
It is very fun. Super high
despite
energy
its
compared
length.
to his other ones.
Like you don't feel the length in this or even Magnolia. I
No.
would say really. And probably most of his films they have a 2+ hour runtime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very fun from start to finish. You get some fun needle drops, some fun.
Yeah. This is another one of
editing.
his funnier films. Honestly, he's such a
I
funny
love John C.
director.
Riley and him when they're doing like they're trying to like put more plot
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fucking sucks and they're like acting is terrible in like the film. And they're trying to make music and they're arguing with the record label to like give them their money, but they won't.
He's surprisingly a really comedic director. And it doesn't come across in all his films. I feel like certain
Because
films
they're
it
not
doesn't show up
stupid
at
money
all.
laundering
Yeah.
comedies that
Like, he-
plague the genre. They're not. This is 40, which I think one of his one of the soundtrack composer people worked on. I think that film and some other one
could be.
that I was looking at. But
Yeah.
they're very because you wouldn't associate it with the comedy genre because it's filled with a bunch of stupid improv films where they get like a bunch of A-list actors and then they're just like go on set and fucking say something funny. You were on SNL. You have to be funny, or something. A bunch of stupid shit. So this is if you like funny moments and you want a departure from those, or to just avoid those in general, then avoid them.
Mm-hmm.
My general rule is the white, a couple of the main characters, like 2 or 3 of them, and then a white background, and then red text or black text on the film poster. That's a good sign to stay away from that.
That is
99% of the time.
That's
the
a big
rule.
red flag.
That's the rule. If you notice, it'd be like no,
Yeah,
unless
I'm
you
not
want
gonna
to,
check
like
that
I
one
did.
out.
But he's made none of those. All of his films have been very good. And if we have nothing more to say about Boogie Nights, ? Peter.
That takes us to the end of.
And you are seeing
our
on screen
ranking.
our top 10 list. You are comparing with your eyeballs and trying to determine the average put together combined ranking between us. And also trying to compare in your head whose list is more superior. And you're going to battle it out in the comments.
Our lists are very similar. We really just swapped Magnolia and Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the largest difference between ours.
Oh,
Everything else is like, yeah, we have those
like
first
a couple
3
places.
that are kind of out of
Inherent
place
Vice is the
amongst
exact
filmography.
same.
Inherent Vice is the same. But yeah, other than that, I mean, you're spoiled for choice when it comes to ranking him. So obviously, I understand if the audience members might feel slightly different. But
Yeah,
at the
it's
end of the
completely
day,
fair. Because again, there's 7 out of the 10 that make more sense to be higher up than the bottom 3 on our lists.
And
But he's a very cool director.
I could see some long shot having Inherent Vice as like their number 1. Probably not Licorice Pizza or Hard 8. But
Yeah, I would be
it's
shocked.
a dark horse pick for Inherent Vice, I think.
I would love to hear those people's voices though. If they exist and they're watching this
If
video
they
and they're
exist.
going to go to the comment section, or they were thinking about doing it, please do. We will not make fun of you. Peter's thinking about making fun of you. That's why he's not saying anything.
I was just thinking about it, but I didn't want to.
But I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been this dude. Like Wes Anderson, he's still making films, and I don't know if we'll necessarily revisit a top 10 list, but at the very least on the Podcatchers we'll be talking about his newest films when they do inevitably come out, if we are indeed continuing to do this podcast whenever he makes his next film, which will probably be 3 years from now or something. I don't know.
Probably.
So subscribe for more of that, I guess. I don't know. Do you have any last words? That sounds threatening. Do you have any lingering words for this episode of YouTube?
No.
The end is now. Bye. Thanks for watching.